As anticipated, the floodgates of Shenmue 3 are finally beginning to burst. On the road to the March 9th gameplay trailer premiere, we received some fantastic new screenshots as well as a juicy article from Edge magazine with some exclusive insights so revealing that they venture into some light spoiler territory. Consider that your warning if you're avoiding potentially sensitive Shenmue 3 information. I'm Segalacious of the Virtua Bros channel, in production with Ziming of Shenmue fans, and it's time for another edition of Friendmue News. The past week has been a treat for fans of the Shenmue series, starting off with an image of the inside of a ship, possibly the one in which Ryo will encounter Chai, showcasing the gritty, lived-in feel of the environments that has become a trademark of the Shenmue games. We also were shown the back of an all-too-familiar character from Shenmue 2, Ren of Heavens. Oh, that Ren. If I were a betting man, I would place my last Hong Kong dollar on the prospect of seeing Ren's face in the March 9th gameplay trailer at Magic Monaco. Last but not least, we have the elusive Lan Di. Along with Ryo, fans of Shenmue have doggedly trailed after this imposing antagonist for years. It looks like we may finally catch up to him this time. Much like Ryo, his character model has seen a dramatic improvement since the last teaser trailer. What's more, Lan Di is looking jacked. It wouldn't be hard to believe that this guy could hold up Ryo with one hand and toss him away like a rag doll. What makes him all the more imposing and terrifying is that he shares a mastery of the forbidden art of Koen Ken, otherwise known as the Tiger Swallow Fist, with Lao Chan of the Virtua Fighter series, who incidentally won the entirety of the first World Fighting Tournament in a most decisive manner. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think we're ready to take him on, but I'm still excited to try just the same. It's been too long, and too many fans want a piece of this SOB. Now, the fans were also lavished with an impressive article from the Edge magazine with a world-exclusive take on the intricacies of Shenmue 3. The care and meticulous research compiled by Yu Suzuki 20 years ago in his real-world travels to China are finally being put to use. Here are a few interesting reveals from the article. There is going to be a strong emphasis on the affinity system between NPCs and Ryo in Shenmue 3. Players will need to find ways to endear themselves to certain characters in order to obtain vital information, as well as rely on Shenfa to vouch for your character in order to achieve your objectives. Many of the old familiar feelings that the fans have come to associate with the Shenmue series will remain present in Shenmue 3, as demonstrated by a familiar voice reprising the role of Ryo Hazuki. We read, "Ryo, the most oblivious man in the world, is still the same as ever, and fans will be glad to know that the source of much of Hazuki's charming obliviousness, the voice actor Corey Marshall, will once again play him in the English dub. Marshall has become something of an ambassador for Shenmue, and his enthusiasm for the series and its dedicated fans is infectious, even if that doesn't quite come across in Hazuki's languid delivery. But we wouldn't have the character sounding any other way."
How long does it take to get to Bailu Village?
Oh, I wouldn't know. If you can keep from getting lost, it'll take 2 days.
2 days.
But it could take your entire life.
My entire life?
Just kidding. But do watch for wolves.
Yes, I understand. Thank you very much.
Another tidbit concerning the combat will bring some relief to fans of the Virtua Fighter series. While it remains true that the combat itself will depart from the Virtua Fighter engine, the iconic moves of AM2's crown jewel fighting franchise will remain enshrined within Shenmue 3. In another article segment, we learn, the combat in the original Shenmue games was rooted in another of Yu Suzuki's great Sega series, Virtua Fighter. Here, it's much smoother, with clearer transitions between moves, but that recognizable animation style is still very much present. Significant changes to training and combat stats were also touched on. Training was always important in Shenmue, but how exactly you were improving was quite opaque. This time, progression is a much clearer and more intrinsic part of the experience. 2 main stats govern Hazuki's combat ability: attack power and endurance. The latter is tied to a stamina bar on the HUD, which is affected by pretty much everything you do, from sparring while exploring to performing moves in a fight. Stamina can be restored by eating food.
What the hell?
Which can be stockpiled in your inventory, and eating before doing something strenuous will become part of your routine in Shenmue 3. Ryo's attack power can be increased through training in an area called Martial Hall. There, Ryo can engage in minigames involving the horse stance and Bruce Lee's one-inch punch, which will provide players with a sense of satisfaction as their skills improve along with Ryo. For players wishing to quench their battle lust, Ryo can also improve his fighting abilities by fighting a variety of opponents in an area called the Rose Garden, a fighting ring in the courtyard of a temple. This will also be a good way to make some cash. We also learn about the basic control scheme of Shenmue 3, as well as the return of a favorite Shenmue pastime. As for Shenmue's, unique controls, Suzuki is keen to retain the feel of the original games, but with some degree of modernization. It basically carries over the control scheme from Shenmue 2, but analog stick camera operation, as often seen in modern video games, is supported, he says. Also, the inventory can now be used in a variety of ways, so we have a new interface, but we haven't looked to other titles for reference. Ryo's inventory is something you'll delve into regularly, buying and selling items, picking up hidden objects that can be located by looking around the world using the first-person camera, and yes, collectible capsule toys are making a comeback.
I collected capsule toys.
A capsule toy?
Yeah, they come in small transparent capsules. You put in the coins, and then you get the toys.
Wow, that's cool! You've got such cool things in Japan!
That's right.
At the end of the day, Yu Suzuki is sticking to his artistic vision and has resisted the temptation to fall into the tropes of modern open-world games that have come to plague the genre. It's heartening to hear that Suzuki wants to make sure Shenmue 3 still feels like a Shenmue game, and he seems to be resisting the urge to fall in line with other open-world games, a genre that has surged in popularity enormously since the Dreamcast days. I believe fans who have been waiting patiently for this game will enjoy the Shenmue-specific vibe and the world feel, which is different from any game out there, he says. I decided to go all in with making the world building distinctive. There are a lot of great open-world games out there, but I don't believe many, if any, are quite like Shenmue. You know, you guys, articles like this really make it sink in that we actually did it. Shenmue has been saved. The love and passion of the fans have rekindled the spark needed to reignite the franchise for a new generation. Shenmue is not only alive, but signs point to Shenmue 3 being something incredibly special. The greatness of the series does not seem to have been lost. It's incredible, really, that Shenmue 3 exists at all, but the sheer strength of its cult following and the enduring passion of its fanbase has been enough to bring it back from the dead almost 2 decades later. Everything is thanks to the power of the fans who continue to offer their support for such a long time, says Suzuki. Every year I get sent letters and such from people looking forward to Shenmue 3, and people saying they don't care if it takes the form of a manga or novel or whatever. They just want to know what happens next in the story. This, combined with the Kickstarter, eventually blossomed into something we never imagined when we started out on this project. For those of you that would like to read the entire article, a link will be placed in the description below. The time is nearly here, Friendmues. Let us look forward to March 9th and see the fruits of this labor of love. Keep friends and those you love close to you. This is Segalacious, signing off.